January 21st, 2026. As usual, we'll give it a few minutes for others to join. Hey, Mike, welcome, brother. We have people joining now. We'll give it another few minutes and we'll get started. Well, for those who didn't catch the stream on Saturday, I finally did get my Henry Big Boy in, and I finally got to take it to the range, and that thing is fantastic. I just did the review this weekend. I released the video yesterday, I believe, if you want to take a look at it. Even Henry liked it. Henry even commented on the video, so that was pretty cool. Have some gun news to report. Hawaii is such a wacky state with their gun laws. They have a ban on carrying firearms on public property that's open to the public. So I'm assuming that's like a store or a private business. Well, now what they're trying to push is that they're trying to push a bill requiring people that have concealed carry permits to wear a orange armband while they're carrying, so they could be identified by police officers and business owners, so the business owners can tell them they can't carry on their premises. Well, that's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. The whole point of concealed carry is to conceal so nobody knows about it. And now they want people to walk around with a orange armband screaming, "I'm carrying a gun." That is one of the most ridiculous things I have ever heard. In New York, a senior citizen went to get a pack of cigarettes at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he was confronted by a individual that had a lengthy police record. The man supposedly attacked the senior citizen, and he pulled his firearm and shot and killed him. And he was found not guilty of killing the guy. They said it was perfectly justified, but they got a search warrant, and they found that he owned guns that were not New York compliant. So he was arrested on federal gun charges and sentenced to 4 years in prison. That's messed up. So you have a perfectly legitimate shooting. You're found not guilty of murder. Wasn't even actually not, he wasn't not found guilty. He wasn't even charged with murder because it was cut and dry. And then the poor guy gets 4 years in prison because he owns guns that are not New York compliant. This stupid shit has got to stop. Um, I follow the gun laws in every state. I like to know what's going on. Um, and like I always say, we need to fight for our Second Amendment rights because one election could change everything. And in some cases, it has. Um, in Virginia, they have a Democratic governor now, and she is anti gun, and she's coming out with a they're going to have a whole bunch of sweeping anti-gun bills in Virginia. I was reading the gun laws in New Jersey because we are originally from there. We moved to the great state of Tennessee 7 years ago. Um, but I still like to know what's going on as far as gun rights and stuff. And Mancha, welcome from Texas. Glad to have you, brother. Um, so, Governor Free Stuff Phil Murphy passed a bill in New Jersey where if you have a negligent discharge, you could be charged with a felony. Yeah, you know what, Ted? They always say Tennessee's talking about more gun laws, and it really is not true because they never pass. They talk about it, but fortunately, um, Tennessee is mostly red for the most part, and we have not passed any anti-gun bills in Tennessee. Matter of fact, in Tennessee, um, the gun laws are actually getting even more loose. Uh, People now under the age of 21, if you're 18, you can now conceal carry. They did away without carry permits in Tennessee. So don't believe the stuff you read on the internet. They talk about it. It's never going to happen. Not in my lifetime. And hello, Stuart. Welcome to have you from Louisiana. Um, but that thing in New Jersey, I mean, since the Braun case, when New Jersey um, decided to issue carry permits so they didn't get sued, Governor Murphy and the Attorney General were up all night long coming up with a list of places you can and can't carry. They're still trying to decide what sensitive areas mean. And New Jersey actually lost gun rights since then. So it's kind of ironic that they're issuing carry permits, but they've lost gun rights. Um, if you're in possession of a high capacity magazine in New Jersey, uh, you could be charged with the felony. And now this new thing where if you have a negligent discharge, you could be charged with that, even if somebody's not injured. Um, and then they'll charge you with a felony so that they could take your firearms and you can't own them. And it's kind of ironic. I mean, this is basically what they're trying to do in New Jersey. They want people to be afraid to even own a gun. Um, I still don't understand why the Second Amendment is not protected federally. Um, Out of everything in the Bill of Rights, okay, they don't attack the First Amendment. They don't. How did they get to pick and choose? Let's screw with the Second Amendment. Um, you don't go to jail because you spoke what's on your mind and you exercised the First Amendment. But yet, every state has their own laws regarding Second Amendment rights. I don't know how that could possibly be. I don't know how the federal courts 50 years ago didn't just say enough is enough. This is federal law, and the states can't make up their own laws. I mean, the the Constitution gives us these rights, and they're absolute. It's not the government's right to take away. Hey, Sarita, welcome. I agree with you, Stuart. That Virginia governor, she is going to be a horror show. I mean, she looks crazy. I find it ironic that all these blue states, with all of their gun control and all that nonsense, look at Illinois. Illinois has got some of the toughest gun control laws in the country. And yet, how many people get killed in Chicago every weekend? What about our little children? What about our little children? Do you really think that the Democrats give a rat's ass about kids getting killed? Absolutely not. All the Democrats do is every time there's a tragedy, they use that tragedy to promote their agenda. They don't give a rat's ass about kids getting killed or innocent people getting killed. All they actually love when there's a mass shooting, because now they get to clamor around it and they get to use that to promote their agenda, and they politicize it. The stupid gun buybacks. First of all, it's not really a gun buyback because the government didn't own the guns in the first place, so they're not buying them back. And Chucky, you just woke up and got out of your mommy's basement. You're going away. Now, trading a gun that could have been used in a murder or robbery, no questions asked, and they give him cash, so now they can go buy more guns. I agree with you, Sarita, but they still have these gun buybacks, and they claim them to be a win. And everybody knows they don't work. If anything, it makes things worse because you have people turning in guns that were used in the commission of a crime, and they're getting cash, and now they could go buy more illegal guns. Don't know if you were aware, but late last week, maybe Friday, um, it was overturned that the 100-year ban from the post office of shipping firearms is illegal, unconstitutional, and not enforceable. So, effective as of, I believe, Friday, you are now allowed to ship firearms through the post office. Great for you there, Gundogan. You're going to love that Zalissi. I'm telling you, for the money, I love that thing. I run Zalissi optics on every one of my pistols, except for my Hellcat Pro. I have a Holosun on it, and I put that up against my Holosuns any day. So, for those who haven't seen my review on the Henry, I'll give you my impressions of it. Probably one of the most gorgeous guns I've ever seen. I love the dark walnut and the brass. It's got the brass side loading gate. It's a lot of fun to shoot. And I got the 357 carbine, and that lever is like butter. You can rack it with one finger. I just released that video yesterday. And Henry even checked out my video and commented on it, which was pretty cool. I'll get right back to you there, Sarita, on that. The only complaint I have about the Henry Big Boy, and it's not the gun, it's probably me. I'm not a fan of the buckhorn sights. I just found them very difficult to use the first time, as opposed to normal iron sights. But Um, okay, Sarita. So, yeah, the Echelon. I own the Echelon. It is a phenomenal gun. If if you had to go and have a gunsmith do all the things that they did to that Echelon, you'd probably pay $2,000 for it. I mean, the Echelon out of the box, just like the SIG and the Ruger RXM, it's got a removable fire control unit. So that allows you to buy um, grips, slides, etc., without going to an FFL. And I swapped mine out. I got the um, OD Green. Um, it is just a phenomenal gun. And then their optic pin configuration is like nothing I've ever seen before. It comes with a set of pins, and with that pin configuration, the Echelon will accommodate 30 different optics without a mounting plate. So, yeah, that Echelon, it comes with a tritium front night sight, the typical Springfield U-notch rear sight. Um, comes with 3 back straps. It is awesome. When I got my Echelon, though, I got the Echelon uh, full size, the 4.5 inch barrel. If I had to do it over again, I probably would have gotten the 4.5 inch, gotten the 4 inch barrel. But I'll never part with it. I love that gun. I'll never get rid of it. You had one other. You have a Hess. I'm sorry. Again, the comments go by really quickly. So if I miss them, I apologize. I will find them. So, Joe, you have a hex wasp on your Hellcat and you don't like it. I'm not a fan of the. Uh, I'm not a fan of that wasp, the hex wasp at all. Um, like I said, when I found the Zalissi optics, I highly recommend them. Um, for the money, they're under $150 and they're crystal clear. And like I said, I put them up against my Hollow Sun any day. They're at least as good as my Hollow Sun for half the cost. And hello, Stuart. Yeah, well, that's the problem, Stuart. You see, out of the Bill of Rights, and it is the Bill of Rights, it's not the Bill of Needs. It's got nothing to do with how many guns I need. But under the Bill of Rights, for some reason, the government only comes after the Second Amendment. And I don't understand how they get away with that. They don't, you don't get put in jail for being in a different state that doesn't like First Amendment rights. So how did they get to pick the Second Amendment? And believe me, the Second Amendment protects all the other amendments. And I just don't understand when the Second Amendment is absolute. It's not the government's right to take away. Matter of fact, it was written so that the tyrannical government can't take them away. However, regarding the First Amendment, um, yeah, you have the right to free speech, but there are consequences. Um, if your company's HR department starts uh, spying on people, and hello, Sherry, thank you for joining. If your HR department spies on your social media, and you can get fired for comments you make, I guarantee you, if you go on a job interview, before you even leave that room, they're checking out your social media post, and you either may or may not get hired because of what social media you have. That's the problem, Stuart, is I still can't wrap my head around it on why the federal government didn't just put an end to this 50 years ago and say, nah, this is Second Amendment. It's absolute. States can't make up their own rules. And it's not only states, it's cities, right? Like you can carry a firearm in Pennsylvania, but you can't carry in Pittsburgh and Philly. So it's not only are states making up their own laws, now you have cities and towns making up their own laws. And I don't know, I just don't understand why this is not being brought on the federal level and ruled once and for all. And Pam Bondi, I'm still convinced she is not a friend of the Second Amendment. I'm with you there, Stuart. I don't either. Well, that's the problem there, Sherry, is that, first of all, the Bill of Rights were written to protect our rights. And they were very important, and that's why it was done. But yet you have the government picking and choosing and making up their own interpretations of the Second Amendment. It's unbelievable. But Pam Bondi, she is not a friend of ours. Trust me. I'm not agreeing that we need to have the Second Amendment to protect against ICE. You know what? If you're illegal, shouldn't be here. I'm sorry. And you know what? When a federal officer tells you to stop the damn car, you stop the damn car. You don't try to run them over. I kind of agree with Trump is not a friend of ours either. He has really not done anything to protect the Second Amendment, to be honest with you. I attended the NRA convention in Dallas last year, and he promised a lot of things that he shouldn't have promised. And, you know, whether his intentions were right, he knew he couldn't promise it, especially national reciprocity. I don't know where you're getting your information from, and honestly, this is really not this is a gun forum here. This is really not a political forum. I only get political when it comes to our Second Amendment right, for the most part. But anyway, I digressed because we had a couple distractions here. But yes, you know, all the things Trump promised to protect the Second Amendment rights, I haven't seen anything. I mean, the only thing that happened in 2 years was they took away the $200 tax stamp on suppressors. And hello there, Duke, and good to have you back. And again, they're taking victory laps with that. That wasn't a victory. All they did was eliminate the $200 tax stamp. You still need to fill out an ATF Form 4. It's still on the NFA list. So, you know, that's pretty much all they've done. And I don't regret voting for Donald Trump. I voted for him the first time, voted for him the second time. And if he ran the third time, I'd vote for him again. But, you know, Second Amendment is very important to me. Don't write checks your mouth can't cash. And anyway, we'll see. I mean, granted, the man's got a lot of shit on his plate. He inherited a mess from crooked Joe Biden. He's got the Ukraine thing to deal with. He's got a lot of things that are probably more important right now. But yeah, the Bursa is not a bad gun, Sherry. I got to say though, that new Henry Big Boy I got, that is my favorite gun now. Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't think we'll ever see national reciprocity in our lifetime. And that really is a shame because the Second Amendment is absolute. The Second Amendment should not end at your state border. I wish I got to go to SHOT Show. I've always wanted to go to that. And PSA has a new platform now called the AXR. It's not on their website yet, but they announced it at SHOT Show. And it's almost like a Build-A-Bear with guns. They're going to be making... PSA is going to cost me a lot of money. PSA is going to be making a whole bunch of modular solutions. Modular fire control group, slides, barrels, that'll all be interchangeable, and you could build your own rifle or pistol just by using the fire control group and buying your receivers, and that's going to be a really cool thing. No worries there, Duke. Family's more important. You got to do what you got to do. But I am glad I finally did get to shoot that Henry. Like I said, it's probably my fault that I didn't shoot it as well as I would have liked to, because I don't know. I had a hard time getting used to those buckhorn sights. Hey, Cannon, thank you for joining, brother. We got a bunch of new people here today, which is really good. That means that YouTube is pushing us out to more people. We are growing. We do this live stream every Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern, and every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. And we do this because our subscribers requested it. I listen to my subscribers. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for the subscribers, we wouldn't be where we are. This channel has grown exponentially this year. Matter of fact, we went from 7,000 to 7,500 subscribers in 2 weeks. So I'm really, really happy with the growth of the channel, and it's all because of you guys. So I thank you all. And if you're new on this stream and you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you turn your notifications on so you'll be notified of our new reviews. We have over 800 product reviews, so there's something for everybody. And we're a small channel. I don't receive my firearms for free. I buy them all. So the only way we get revenue is from people watching our videos. So watch the heck out of all the videos you can. Share them, leave comments, like them. The more you comment and the more you share and like them, the more YouTube will push them out to other people. and we'll generate more revenue so we can buy more firearms and accessories to review for you guys. Like I said, being I have to buy them out of my own pocket, it takes quite a while to save up enough money to buy a gun. I learned a long time ago not to buy cheap, so I don't buy anything cheap anymore. And that Henry Big Boy was not cheap. Thanks to my subscribers, I was able to accumulate enough YouTube revenue for a couple of months to purchase that. So again, thank you. I did get some products that just came in this week to review. I haven't gotten to them yet. Drilla, the best size magazine for an AR pistol. Do you think they make good car pew-pews? Well, my AR pistols, I still use 30-round magazines. And I don't really think they make great car pew-pews. What I really like that I keep in my car and in my bug-out bag, I have the Smith & Wesson folding carbine pistol. It's a 9mm, 30 inches overall length, folds down to 16 inches, fits in a backpack. That's a great car gun. An AR pistol, it's fun, but honestly, it's really not that practical, especially, 7.5, 10.5-inch barrel. They're not really accurate for long distance. I like them because they're fun. That's a great question. Johnny, I can't pronounce it. That's a great question. Is it the size of the caliber or the velocity of the projectile? I would say it's both. You know, hence the name Pro Gun 45. I'm a huge fan of the 45. 45 ACP is a very slow moving projectile. It moves probably 850 to 900 feet per second. It's a very slow moving projectile, but you're going to bleed like a radiator. It's going to leave a hole this big in you. And then you have the 9mm that's a smaller projectile, but it travels further. I still think Big Hole does more damage to organs, but 9mm has evolved a lot over the years. And 9mm, even though it's a smaller caliber, because of its muzzle velocity, will definitely penetrate and damage internal organs. So, yeah, it's definitely a combination of both. But more important than that is it's really about shot placement, right? I mean, with the right shot placement, you could kill somebody with a 22. Thomas, that's tough, man. I own so many pistols to try to pick a favorite. I don't know. I mean, I guess I would say probably my Springfield Emissary 1911. I'm a huge 1911 fan. I love 45 ACP, hence Pro Gun 45. I also love 10mm. I love my Glock 20. Revolvers makes it a lot easier. Now, I have the Ruger GP100 that I just bought. I got the Smith & Wesson 686 Deluxe, and I have the Colt Python Combat Elite. Hands down, the Colt Python Combat Elite is my favorite revolver. I just happen to have way too many pistols, and I like them all. To answer your question, Thomas, yes, I run a red dot on almost every one of my pistols. And you know what? 2 years ago, if you would have asked me about a red dot on an everyday carry gun, I would have said no way. But after trying them and getting used to them, I have them on every one of my guns, even my carry guns. Now, I'm old school. I still like iron sights, and I can co-witness my sights. Now, my recommendation is if you're new to red dots, learn to shoot your irons well first. Because if that battery fails you, you're going to need to shoot using your irons. So that's just my 2 cents. I also find that there's a learning curve on the red dot. I'm old school. I've been shooting for over 40 years using iron sights. When I first started using a red dot, it was like the cat chasing a laser pointer. It was a bit of a learning curve for me. But I'm betting if you've never shot a gun before and you never used iron sights, you'd probably pick up the red dot very quickly, and you'd probably be very good with it the first time out at the range. I think that people that have been shooting irons for, 20, 30 years have a disadvantage because muscle memory, they got to relearn. But once you get the hang of the red dot, it just gives you rapid deployment, gives you exceptionally quick target acquisition. So, yeah, I run a red dot on every one of my pistols that is capable of accommodating a red dot. And now I highly recommend them. And time check, it is 8:16. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions or statements you want to make, now would be the time to do it. I hate to see people have a question or not be able to enter their comments because we run out of time. Again, to the people that are new, I see we're getting more and more people joining now. We do this live stream every Wednesday evening at 8:00 p.m. Eastern and every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. And Dale, well, hello to you. Welcome back. Again, those that are new to this stream, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate that. And to those who already did, thank you all again. We went from 7,000 to 7,500 subscribers in about 2 weeks. So we are growing very quickly. And we must be getting noticed because now every week I have more and more companies contacting me, asking me if I'd be willing to review their products. Remember when I first started, it was almost impossible to get a product to review. And now I actually turn things down. Thank you, Dale. I'm very proud of that accomplishment, considering a year ago we only had 1,000 subscribers. I was hoping to have 10,000 by the end of the year, and I failed to do that. but I don't consider this channel a failure. I think it's very successful. It's not that easy to grow a YouTube channel, especially a channel that's dedicated to firearms. YouTube does not like gun channels. So I guess even though I failed to reach my 10,000 subscribers, 7,500 in a year is pretty damn good considering they don't like us. But I'm sure we will hit 10,000 this year. Matter of fact, we went from 7,000 to 7,500 in a couple of weeks. So I'm hoping in a couple of weeks we can get to 8,000. Closer we get to 10,000. From what I understand is once you get 10,000 subscribers, your channel gets classified differently, and then it makes it even easier to grow. But that's okay. I'm perfectly happy with the progress we've made, and I appreciate all you people for your support. Obviously, we do these streams twice a week because you requested it, and it's your loyalty. You guys are here every week. I really enjoy the relationship and camaraderie with you guys, and I love sharing and exchanging information. Like I always say, we all don't know everything, but everybody knows something. I'm gonna just let that one go, Larry, until I figure out what your purpose is here. We don't make guns here. We discuss firearms, accessories, Second Amendment, comments, suggestions. We do this so that we can learn from each other. Do I have a pistol mount for my vehicle? Yeah, I do. I have a magnetic gun mount. But honestly, when I drive, unless I'm driving a long distance, I normally still carry. If I'm driving a long distance, I'll put it in the mount, but I don't really see a use for that. What I'd really like to find a mount for is on my motorcycle. Right now, I carry it or I keep it in the tour pack. It would really be cool to have a pistol mount on my motorcycle, but and again, I want to thank our moderators. Moderators volunteered to help out, and they do a phenomenal job. I couldn't do this stream without you guys. One of the things about the channel growing as big as it's growing is we get more and more people join, but we also get some liberals that come out of their parents' basements. So thank you to our moderators for helping these people go bye-bye. I'm glad that I bought the Henry. Not really a big rifle guy, and to be honest with you, I bought it because every time I go to the gun store now, I don't know about you all, but I go to the gun store now, and it gets harder and harder and harder to find a handgun that I like. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of 9mm. I love me 45s and my 10mm, but they're not making them anymore. And when I go into a gun store, everything is a polymer frame 9mm, and they all look the same. Um, Nothing really just screams buy me anymore. And that's why I've been buying more revolvers and 1911s because it's just a pain in the ass to having a, when I go to the gun range, I got to go through a huge box of magazines and make sure I get the right ones. And then I get to the range and I'm like, ah, crap, I left the wrong mag home. And we got more liberals crawling out of their parents' basement. And I made that one go away. Um, that's a great question, Larry. Um, I don't know what Chuck Connor used in The Rifleman. It's possible. I mean, that Henry Big Boy, they've been making the Henry since 18 something. But let me tell you, that is a real pleasure to shoot. It's a lot of fun. And surprisingly, at a 357 Magnum, it's got like zero recoil. And that's because of the very heavy octagonal barrel. I got the 16.5-inch carbine, and that thing weighs almost 9 pounds. That's a lot for a 16.5-inch barrel. But with the dark walnut stock and the brass side gate and the brass trimming, it is a beautiful gun. I'm just the opposite. I mean, I'm a handgun guy, but I bought the Henry because, I used to love the Rifleman. I just always wanted a lever action rifle, and I got one. Um, and like I said, when it comes to handguns now, I don't know, nothing does it for me anymore. And that's why now I'll probably just wind up buying revolvers and 1911s in 45 ACP, of course. Um, I know they make 1911s in 38 Super and 9mm, but to me, a 1911 that's not 45 ACP is sacrilegious. Uh, that's a good question, Larry. I would probably say now the Marlin. Now that Ruger owns them, I'd probably go with the Marlin. Ruger is going to continue to make sure that they are built like tanks and they function well. I'm jealous, Dale. I got the Henry in 357. I know the 4570 is popular. I may wind up getting another one in 45 Colt. Or actually, maybe now Henry makes a big boy 357 revolver. And now maybe I have to get the Henry 357 revolver to complete the set. I don't know how many of you guys. Hey, and hello there, Mindset. Thank you for joining. I don't know how many of you guys build your own ARs. I've built a lot of them. They're a lot of fun to build. They're a lot of fun to shoot. And I've always been a big fan of the Anderson lower receivers. Larry, I'm trying to read your question here. Yeah, you definitely need air protection on a snub nose revolver. Actually, any of them for that matter. But you know what? When your life's on the line, Um, but yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with a Henry 357 revolver now. Yeah, we love the Second Amendment too, there, Mark, but the government keeps trying to take it away from us. And I will not try a SIG 365. I have a SIG P320 and I love it. I have way too many 9mm. I will never buy another 9mm. I'm not even a fan of 9mm, and I have 18 of them because they are cheap to shoot. But yes, the Smith & Wesson Model 19 is an awesome gun. It's coined. They just came out. They just re-released the 19 without the external lock on it. I'm not a fan of shoulder holsters, to be honest with you. I've tried them. They flop around too much, and honestly, the gun is really never pointed in a safe direction. Yes, the founders put it there for a tyrannical government, which we had under the Biden administration. And the Second Amendment is absolute, but yet the government only chooses to go after the Second Amendment. And like we said earlier, I don't understand why the federal government didn't put their foot down 50 years ago and say the Second Amendment is absolute. The states do not have the right to make up their own bullshit gun laws. I get you, Dale. I really do. And I get the Shadow 2 thing, but I just have way too many. I have 18 9mm, and I'm not going to part with any of them because I like them all. I just don't see any reason to get any more 9mm. I don't like that I have to have a box of 100 magazines when I go to the range, depending on the gun that I use. And that's why I like now having more revolvers and 1911s. I'll get right with you there, It's Coin. I could have 50 1911s. They all use the same mags. I don't have to worry about mags on the revolver. I will never buy another 9mm. Not because there's not because there is anything wrong with the 9mm. Don't get me wrong; it's perfectly adequate for defense. I just have too many of them, and the ones that I do have, I'm not willing to part with. So I can't even say, maybe I'll trade 3 or 4 in and get something else. I won't part with any of them. All right, so It's Coin. I would recommend a 9mm as the first gun. And Gene C. Lopez, hello to you. Thank you for joining. I agree, Dale. 1911s, I love them. And I'm going to get more. Recently I bought that Springfield Emissary, and that's my favorite. But anyway, It's Coin. I'm sorry about that. The reason I would recommend the 9mm, and even though I'm not a huge fan, it's not because there's anything wrong with it. When I learned to shoot as a kid, my daddy taught me to shoot a 357 Magnum and a 45 Colt. So, 9mm was just a step behind them. So I really didn't have any need to do that. But 9mm evolved a lot over the years. It's perfectly capable for defense, and it's got very low recoil, and it's cheap to shoot. And that's the key. There's the worst thing you can do is buy a gun that you can't afford to shoot. Right? You get a 9mm, it's affordable to shoot. You'll shoot more, you'll practice more, and you'll be a better shot because you could shoot more. I don't blame the guy backing out there, Mike. I'll be honest with you, if it were me, I would never sell my FPC for $489. And that may be my next one too. I mean, I bought my FPC in 9mm, and I'll never get rid of it. And I got it in 9mm because it was cheap to shoot. I could go out the range and shoot all day, pretty much. And then they came out with the 10. I was like, damn it. If I would have waited, but, I'm impatient. I want what I want when I want it. I should have got the 10mm. But, 10mm is expensive to shoot. Even though I reload my own, I have a boatload of 10mm. That may be next. I may wind up getting that Smith & Wesson in 10mm. 600 is a little steep for that, Mike. I can go to the Smoky Mountain Guns and Ammo down the road here, and you check out their website. I got to tell you, even if you live in New Jersey or no matter where you live, when Smoky Mountain Guns and Ammo has a sale, you can't beat them. Even if you got to pay the shipping of $12, whatever. I bought my Springfield Emissary 1911 from them. It was a $1,200 gun. They had it on sale for $679. The Smith & Wesson FPC in 10mm, I think the last time I saw it was like $579 at Smoky Mountain. I think 600's a little steep. I mean, you can buy one brand new out of the box for that. And Common Sense, hello to you. Thank you for joining. I was looking at the Ruger makes a 45 ACP carbine, and they make a 10mm. And the nice thing about the Ruger is that the Ruger 10mm carbine uses Glock magazines. If you have Smith & Wesson pistols, you can use those mags on the Smith & Wesson FPC. I don't own any Smith & Wesson pistols, so the mags that came with mine are fine. And the reason I got the Smith & Wesson is that I originally had the Kel-Tec Sub 2000. It was the Gen 2, and it folded end over end. And the problem with that, I'll get to you right 1 minute there, Gundoggin. The problem with that is you couldn't have your sight mounted. And if you put your face against it, you could feel the charging handle would beat the crap out of your face. And it was very plasticky and cheap feeling. So I got rid of that. And I got the Smith & Wesson because the quality is just 10 times better. Gundoggin, what is a good, affordable sight pusher? My opinion. Go to my YouTube channel and do a search on sight pushers. I've reviewed a few of them. If they're for a Glock, you can't beat the Real Avid Glock sight pusher. I have that one. And then I'm going to actually try to do it now for you. I'll tell you what the other one is. Okay, gun dogging. The Bravex, Bravex, for the money, I got it on Amazon. It was like $60, I think. And that is a universal sight pusher. So you can use that with anything. And 44 carbine, hello to you and welcome. But you may want to, if you go to my YouTube channel and you search on sight pusher, you'll see the Bravex and you'll see the Real Avid Glock sight pusher. I own a lot of Glocks, obviously. So the first one I got was the Real Avid. And then I decided to get the Bravex one because I now have a lot of guns that are not Glocks. And, you know, for $60 for the Bravex, it's built like a tank. It is made out of steel. It's heavy as hell. It'll last you forever. Glock was a good gun. I used to be a Glock poster child. I will never, ever buy a Glock again because they sold out. To discontinue their flagship guns and go to this V series that nobody knows nothing about. This had nothing to do with the Glock switches. They did this in a month's time. That means this has been in the work for years. I don't like that they sold out. Now the Glock Gen 6 is out this month, and they're still not modular. And that's just stupid. I mean, Springfield is modular now. Heck, the $400 Ruger RXM is modular now. SIG is modular. That's the way to go. My most favorite gun, I got to tell you, it's the newest one I just bought. It is my Henry Big Boy lever action 357 carbine. That is by far my favorite gun. It is absolutely gorgeous. I never heard of that one. The best gun for personal protection. Well, the best gun for personal protection is the gun you happen to have, right? It's all about shot placement. We're not going to get in. And hello there, Alchemist. That's a great question there, Bubba. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what modular means. Typically, if you have, say, a Glock, and you decide you wanted a new grip module, right? You need to order another one from Glock, pay an FFL because the serial number is on the grip module, it's on the frame, and that is considered the firearm. Now that they're making the modular, the serial number is on the fire control group. What that means is you pull the trigger group out, and now you can go buy slides and barrels and receivers without having to go to an FFL. The serial number is on the fire control group, and that's why I got new grip modules for my Ruger RXM, my Springfield Echelon, without having to go to an FFL and register it. Ozzy, welcome, brother. I'm sorry, I'm trying to. The best and most reliable gun for defense. You know, at one time, everybody would say the Glock 19, right? And I have a lot of Glocks. Don't get me wrong; they've been around a long time. They're very reliable, but there are a lot of guns out there. There's a lot of guns out there that are just as reliable as a Glock. Springfield Echelon, Springfield Hellcat Pro. The Smith & Wesson Equalizer. The Ruger RXM, in my opinion, is still the best 9mm pistol for under $400. And the Echelon is awesome. One of my favorite guns. But when I bought my Echelon, they only had the full size, which is what I bought. Now the Echelon's got the compact. I thought about trading in my full-size Echelon for the compact, but I don't like getting rid of guns. So maybe I'll eventually get the compact. But so to answer your question, a great gun for a new gun owner, hands down, is the Ruger RXM. It's modular, and it's $400. Tritium night sight. It's optic ready. The grip is done by Magpul. They did a phenomenal job. They now have full-size compact and subcompact grips. Jonathan Lake, it's not that I don't like the M&P line. I know it comes across that way, but it's just a personal preference for me. I just find the trigger to be very gritty. I just don't care for the trigger. It's a reliable gun. My wife's got the M&P Shield. It's extremely reliable. It shoots very well. I just don't like that trigger. And it could be me. It could be because I've had Glock triggers my whole life. And Springfield triggers that the Smith & Wesson kind of feels gritty. The Canics have, I wouldn't call the Canics great triggers. I have a couple Canics. Their triggers are good. You put them side by side by the Walther. I still think the Walther trigger's better. But for the money, you get what you get. The Canic is made in Turkey. It's a decent gun for the money. Yeah, the Bodyguard is a great selling gun. If you happen to be a fan of a 380. But it is Smith & Wesson's one of their best-selling firearms. And just so you know, it's almost 10 of. We got about 10 minutes to go here, so I'm sorry again if I missed any of your questions. Some of these questions have scrolled by very quickly, and I didn't get to see them. And sorry, brother Adrian, I didn't see you either. Glad to have you back, brother. Yeah, again, the Bodyguard is a great gun if you like the 380. Be honest with you, I don't know anything about the M1903 Springfield. The only Springfield rifle I have ever shot is the Saint, and that was very good. But again, because I have so many freaking pistols now, um, they all look the same. Um, Nothing screams "take me home" anymore. So I'll probably wind up just buying more revolvers and 1911s. Like I said, I don't like. I get to the range and I left the damn magazine home for the wrong gun, and uh, at least my 1911s, I could have 100 of them, and they all use the same mag. So that's a great question, Adrian. 10 millimeter, hands down. And I'm not talking about, you go to the store and you're buying factory target ammo, which is watered down to be almost like 40 caliber. I mean, you get full blown hot 10 millimeter, it's as powerful as a 357. Yeah, that Diamondback is pretty cool there. It's I like the looks of that thing. Um, I probably will get the Henry Big Boy 357 revolver so that I have the matching set and it matches my new Henry Big Boy rifle. Well, if you're shooting indoors, you should have air protection on no matter what you're shooting anyway. Again, we have a lot of new people on this live stream today, which I'm very happy about. We do this live stream every Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern, and every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. And we do it twice a week because you guys asked for it. This stream is for you guys. And we don't have a set agenda. This is just so we could share information and learn. And thank you for that, Gunduggan. I appreciate you, brother. And I really value and I enjoy the camaraderie and relationship with my viewers and subscribers. Um, you don't see any of the big channels doing this. I like the relationship we have. I like that we share ideas and information. And at the end of the stream, we all learn something. We have less than 10 minutes left. So if you guys have any questions or want to make a comment about anything, now would be the time to do it. Pacastil, I can't pronounce that right. Well, thank you for joining. I love having you here. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel. We do this stream every Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern and Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. If you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button. I appreciate that. Authentic Stoic. Let's see. Should I get a Springfield or a Colt 1911? I would go with the Colt, personally, for a couple reasons. And money is not the reason. Okay? The Colt is, what can I tell you? The Colt's the Colt, right? It won 2 world wars. It's a great shooting gun. And it is always going to hold a resale value. And the truth. Thanks for joining. You joined a little late. We only got 10 minutes left in the stream. We do this until 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern. We do start at 8 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. Aiden Smith, I do not have Kimbers any longer because I had bad experiences with them. I always wanted a Kimber 1911, and I bought the Kimber Custom 2 1911. I had it for 2 weeks. I had nothing but failures. Every fifth round jammed. I got rid of it, and I got my Cult Government model. Yes, I agree, the author Stoic. The 1911 is a piece of history, but especially the Cult. And they're just priceless. There's nothing like a 1911. And out of the box, the 1911 has got the best trigger in the world out of the box. So, regardless of the price, I would go with the Cult. The Cult is always going to be a collector's item. L3G. Yep, I love the CZ. The CZ Shadow Carry is a great gun. A little steep. I mean, you can buy a lot of guns just as good for less money. But I'm a big fan of the CZ. I'm a little disappointed that CZ discontinued the 45 ACP. And I was really hoping that CZ would come out with a 10 millimeter. Almost everybody now makes a 10 millimeter. I was hoping CZ would do it, but they haven't. Because I would get one in a heartbeat. Yeah, Canics are good guns. They are made in Turkey, and they are a knockoff and almost a clone of the Walther. But they're good guns. What are my thoughts on the newer 30 Super Carry? To be honest with you, my only problem with that is ammo is very expensive and hard to find. That's my only problem. SP01, I don't know what the SP01 is. And Jeffrey, good evening to you, sir. Sorry you joined so late. We are ending the stream in about 4 minutes. We do start at 8 o'clock Eastern, but we're glad to have you. Again, those that are new here and you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. The 30 Super Carry, I got to tell you, I don't think I've ever even seen ammo for that in the store locally. I don't like buying ammo online. I normally reload my own. I just don't like to wait. I mean, if I want ammo, I want what I want. Plus P ammo is fine. I think you notice the plus P more in a revolver because if you shoot 38 plus P, it's not that far below 357, but not as powerful. And I mean, it's not really a big selling point for me. That's a great question there, gun guy. Reloading ammo is definitely worth it if you're shooting that much. The problem is it takes time to reload, right? I just reloaded 5,000 rounds of 357 ammo. I'm not really a fan of slide cuts. I don't really have an opinion on that, Jonathan. Yeah, the P365 is a great gun. I've shot it. It shoots very well. And like I said, I have 18 9mm. I will never buy another 9mm pistol. Any pistol I buy will either be a revolver, a 1911, or a 45 or 10mm. And I got to tell you, I like my SIG P320s, regardless of people having negligent discharges, because I still think it's operator error. What's in my everyday carry lineup? Okay. When I go to work, I carry my Hellcat Pro or my Savage Stance because they're micro compacts and they conceal very, very well. And normally it's a Glock 29 10mm. Any recommendations for building a firearms YouTube channel? I thought that's what this was. All right, guys, it is 8:59. We got 1 minute left to go. Again, these comments do come by very quickly, so I apologize if I missed your comments and I didn't give you a shout out because your name scrolled by very quickly. I do apologize for that. The truth, I am in the great state of Tennessee outside of Knoxville and growing coastal. Thanks for joining, brother, but you joined too late. We end the stream at 9 o'clock. We start at 8 Eastern. Every Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern. Every Saturday, 12 noon Eastern. So I'm sorry for that, but we will be ending the stream now. Thank you all so much. Those are new, please subscribe to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate that. Those that already did subscribe, thank you. And again, my moderators, I can't thank you guys enough for all you do for us. These live streams wouldn't be a success without the help from you guys. So I love you all. Thank you. And we'll be doing this again Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. Everyone have a blessed evening. Thanks for joining.